So the infiltration of morality into our social institutions is a product of those who construct the institutions. It is a product of the mediocrity and banality of the architects, right? It really is a product of the mediocrity and banality of the architects. What you have to recognize is that insofar as you make supplications to the institution, then insofar as that's done, you lower yourself, you debase yourself to an institutions erected by just the most banal systems of constructed social order, right? The whole idea of the social order was to homogenize, right, the group identity, right, to homogenize group identity at the expense of individual agency, right? And this becomes the true threat. Nietzsche says, right after read 316, right underneath that, the quote on page 56, quote, one is a thoroughly small type of man, right? One is a thoroughly small type of man if one is only virtuous. Do not be misled about that. If you are only virtuous, you pride yourself in how virtuous you are, then you have to recognize that your virtue comes as a consequence of this homogeneity. Right? So what you're basically saying, Nietzsche doesn't say this explicitly, but what he's saying is that priding yourself in being a virtuous man says that you are really, really good at taking orders. You are really, really good at conforming. You are really, really good at losing your identity to gain acceptance, to share, to participate in a bit of that recognition, right? That social validation at the expense of your identity, right? So one is a thoroughly small type of man if one is only virtuous. Do not be misled about that. Men who have been in any way notable were never such virtuous asses, right? If it is notoriety that you're ascribing, that you're aspiring for, right? If that's what you're looking for, then you can't wear the banner of I'm Mr. Virtuous, I'm Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I mean, we have a phrase for it in the States, right? I'm a goody two. Oh, he's a goody two shoes, right? Nobody likes a goody two shoes, right? So if you're like I'm Mr. Wholesome, I'm Mr. Good, there's Mr. Clean Cut. In a sense, this again goes back to Pippo's point about Reagan, which was just absolutely hilarious, right? If you're just like so clean cut actor quality, then I mean that's great as an ideal, right? If you posit that as an ideal, but for everybody else, we're not in that game. Unless you're in the political arena, there's a different paradigm that structures your behavior. As a regular citizen, we're not looking to be political figures. So yeah, I take pride in my flaws. I take pride in the fact that I can curse. I take pride in the fact that I like dark things. I take pride in the fact that it's not all welcoming and cookie cutter. I take pride in the fact that I stand outside of the crowd. Right? That's the point. And this on a very sort of ghetto level, this is all that high school clique mentality, right? All the cool kids either play football or they become cheerleaders, right? And then you have the not so cool kids, and then you have the nerds, and then you have kids that you didn't even know went to the school. That's me, right? You didn't even know I went to your school because you weren't talking to me when I was in school. And I'm glad, because I didn't want to talk to you. So it's if you're aspiring for notoriety, then you recognize that you're not going to be a champion of virtue, right? You want to tell, and I've said this before, those in power that I'm a tool. I really am, right? Use me how you see fit. Take my body and my mind and do with it as you will. Some of those actions, you are going to have to be a personal gauge of just how bad you want X. How much of yourself are you willing to really sell in order to get X? Because people will manipulate you. You have to recognize that. So as an academic, people will weaponize my mind, right? I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not going to weaponize my body. But my mind can definitely be weaponized. Am I willing to do that, right? How far into the process of weaponization am I willing to go, right? Can I sell my mind, my ideas, my logic, my abilities for good, for bad? it's for me to determine. And being a student of Pac, there's going to be lots of contradiction, right? It's not going to be all kumbaya, skip through the streets, and it's not going to be kill 'em all. It's going to be somewhere in the middle, right? So it's, the virtuous man isn't going to have that flexibility. The virtuous man is going to conform to blend. The notable man is going to have that flexibility. On this, I'm not going to just conform to some principle. No, I think that I should use my mind in order to intellectually intimidate and dominate someone, right? You know, oh, if you thought I didn't know, if you thought I was stupid, because you saw the tats and you thought it was a joke, I'm going to make you look like an ass. And I'm going to relish it. I'm not trying to be a politician. I'm not a preacher, right? I can't wait to make you look stupid. That's the bad side, right? That's the bad side. But at least it's honest. It's true. It's no mask. It's, what do you think, people? You think people become academics and get all this education just so they can look smart? No. Right? You have demons too. I'll share one little demon with you. I'll just give you a little peek. So, my biological sperm donor, I can't call him dad. He was a bit of an ass, and he didn't think I was the brightest person in the world, and he used to remind me of that all the time. So I get so much gratification in the fact that I know he's watching, and I get so much gratification in the fact that he knows he's about as dumb as they come. And I dominate him, and all others like him with my genius. And I take no humility in the act. Get to the level of power that you want, and you use it to dominate. You use it to crush. You use it to destroy. You use it to affect your will to power. I don't need a speech. I don't need prayers. I don't need a preacher. I don't need your condolences. I don't care if you hate the video, dislike Dr. Campbell, this and that. It's not about you. It's about me. And that's what you need to be saying. It's not about you. It's about me. This is the discourse. Nietzsche wants to push that button. He wants you to recognize that if you want to be like the herd, like the mass, well, cower, bow. Get on your knees and bow. Beg. I want to see it. Ask for it. Or you can be the type who exercises that will to power, gets tools to make you stronger, sell yourself to those in power, and then you destroy everything that you see. Within moderation. You discern how bad you're really going to slip into the dark side or not. Right? But that's, you know, that's what it's really about, people. That's what it's about. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Right? But after this quick side note, I'm thinking about doing what I'm going to call a philosophy of irreverence. There's a certain sense in which I don't care what you think. I'm not here for you, right? I am here for those who are more powerful than me, and I'm ready to break some stuff. Right? So, yeah, you know, you're not supposed to say this type of stuff in the public sector, in the public sphere, but I've read just too much Nietzsche to sit down and be thankful and grateful for all of your love and your kindness and all the affection that you've shown over the years, X, whoever you are, right? The herd is looking to preserve the self. So how I preserve myself is I blend in, and I don't want to cause much of a ruckus because I'm so scared. No, it's I'll eat you. You gotta adopt that mentality. This isn't for everybody. If what I'm saying now offends you, you might not want to watch the rest of my series because it's probably not for you. But if you are the kid who was picked on, and you were the kid that people thought was stupid, and you were the kid that nobody wanted to be around, and you realize that, holy crap, I get this. I can activate my nerddom. I can activate this nerddom and get money and get power and get recognition and use it to put people in their place. To take institutions and collapse it, as Nietzsche did, as Pippo said, which I thought was awesome. He was like, he turned German idealism over on its head, and then he just came with the warhammer. If that's something you want to do, you better make sure you understand this, because you're not going to be able to destroy unless you understand this, right? Because the whole point is, after the deconstruction comes the construction, right? We haven't begun the deconstruction yet. Nietzsche, 300 and whatever, 29 page notes into the lecture series, he's still deconstructing, he's still breaking it down.